This week at NASA.
2, 1, and liftoff of the Delta II with Jason II.
After its successful launch aboard a Delta II rocket from Vandenberg Air Force Base, California, the Ocean Surface Topography mission's Jason II satellite is orbiting 830 miles above the Earth. Its 5 primary science instruments measure ocean surface height. These measurements will help scientists predict and evaluate climate changes and improve weather forecasting.
This mission will help us to estimate intensification of hurricanes as they approach the shoreline. Where there are warm pools, deep pools of water offshore, like in the Gulf of Mexico, those can cause hurricanes to intensify. And the mission will be very beneficial in doing hurricane forecasting, intensity forecasting at the National Hurricane Center at NOAA.
The chunks of bright material photographed by NASA's Phoenix Mars lander have vanished from inside a trench 4 days after they were uncovered. That has scientists convinced that the material was frozen water that vaporized after digging exposed it.
2, 1.
Engineers have begun preliminary testing of a key component of NASA's Constellation program. This new vertical test stand, recently unveiled by NASA and Alliant Tech Systems in Promontory, Utah, is being used to check out the motor igniter of the Orion Crew Exploration Vehicle's launch abort system. The abort motor is designed to pull the crew module away from the Ares 1 launch vehicle in an emergency on the launch pad or during the first 300,000 feet after launch. Full-scale abort motor testing is scheduled this summer. The Constellation program spacecraft will return humans to the Moon by 2020. NASA astronaut Mike Foreman returned home to Ohio to visit with employees and summer students at the Glenn Research Center. Foreman, a native of Wadsworth, not far from Cleveland, showed highlights of his recent excursion into space aboard Shuttle Endeavour as a member of the STS-123 crew. Foreman also answered questions and signed autographs for his fellow Buckeyes. An amateur astronomer in Australia is helping NASA with information he's collected about a storm on Saturn. Backyard stargazer and retired miner Trevor Barry, who lives in the small town of Broken Hill in western New South Wales, first noticed the storm in February. He's been sending pictures to University of Iowa scientists and NASA researchers ever since.
And this was just another night of imaging Saturn. And when I processed the images, there was the barest hint of some structure, a white spot.
Barry's observations are supplementing data collected of the storm by NASA's Cassini spacecraft that's orbiting Saturn.
I'm now involved with NASA. Can you believe that?
Technology designed by NASA for the Apollo program is providing independence for a Texas teenager. Matthew Swinton of the Dallas suburb of Southlake is confined to a wheelchair by muscular dystrophy. A system developed by NASA for its Apollo lunar rovers allows Swinton to get around in his own modified minivan. Rather than a steering wheel and pedals, a joystick lets Swinton turn, accelerate, and brake his vehicle. A touchscreen computer provides additional options, like blowing his horn.
Watch it, buddy!
Swinton is thrilled. His newfound independence is linked to NASA's first program to send astronauts to the Moon. A recent high school graduate, Swinton will attend the University of Notre Dame in the fall and plans to drive to South Bend.
One giant leap or roll for mankind.
And that's this week at NASA. To learn more about these and other stories, log on to www.nasa.gov.